So with me being a saltwater guy, it's not very often that I show up to a boat ramp, whether it's a concrete boat ramp or a dirt ramp, and you see the vegetation has been blown into the boat ramp, and the wind direction on this day had taken this hyacinth, which is a invasive vegetation species in a lot of these Central Florida lakes, and it blew it all right on top of the boat ramp. When I first saw it, I thought, well, we might not be filming here today. I wasn't sure how this was going to work, but the hyacinth is a floating vegetation, and luckily for us, we were able to kind of push our way through it and get to the rest of the lake for what should shape up to be some pretty good fishing. Hey gang, today I am in beautiful Bartow, Florida, which probably means I'm with my good friends Mike and Matt Bedenbaugh from Bartow Ford. Yep. We're on some private pits out here, which is kind of cool. We got an invite to fish some private water. We got a beautiful day.
Gorgeous.
I mean, what do you think? What are you expecting? How are we going to attack this?
We're going to catch them. Oh, okay. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I like that.
But, I mean, we're probably, this time of year, they're going to be on some of the upper ends of the rock bars out there fishing kind of some of the offshore structure, rocks, a little bit of humps, islands. It's probably post-spawn, so they're going to be maybe just off the first deep structure you can get, and just give it a strike king red-eye shads, a little bit of cutter worm, just stuff like that.
Squarebill.
Squarebill, you know.
Some of my favorite fishing.
Mine too.
Covering water, catching fish.
That's it.
Exactly.
I cannot wait to see what the good Lord gives us.
Yep.
So this week I'm in Bartow, Florida, the home of Bartow Ford, one of my great partners, and I'm fishing with Mike Bedenbaugh and his son Matt. And I'm super excited to get to do this show with Mike and Matt. You know, my dad, he got me into fishing, like a lot of us. And so anytime I get a chance to spend some time with a father and son on the water, especially when I'm getting to do a show with them, to me that's pretty special. And kind of a neat situation we got ourselves in today. Mike Bedenbaugh and the people at Bartow Ford, they do a great deal for the community, especially on the fishing side, the high school fishing side of the sport of bass fishing. And it got us an invite into this private lake here in Bartow that not very many people get access to. Doesn't get the normal pressure of a lot of the big bass lakes here in Central Florida. So we were looking forward to this opportunity to get in here and kind of probe around and see what this kind of untouched water would give us on this pretty cool day.
Uh-oh. Got a chunk.
We have a winner.
We have a fish, baby. An opener.
A little chunk too.
Yeah, not bad. What you got, dog?
You gonna boat flip him with a squarebill?
No, probably not.
Is that what you were throwing?
Yeah.
Crankbait?
He's a nice one.
It's a nice fish.
He's not hooked good, but he's a nice one.
Here you go. You can bring him over here if you want.
Now there he goes.
It's a good release.
I knew he was barely hung.
All right. Well,
that was 5'6", easy.
So let me ask you a question, because you guys are the bass gurus.
Wouldn't go that far.
Well, compared to me, trust me, you guys are.
We've done it.
Yeah. So does wind, the direction of the wind, because we obviously don't have tide here in a lake, does the direction of the wind have anything to do with how those bass will set up on the structure?
Because especially if you got a heavy enough wind that it's pushing bait around.
Okay.
I mean, just like saltwater, where if the bait's getting pushed to an edge, they're gonna push towards that same thing. So yeah, you can, especially like on one of those hyacinth edges over there, or anywhere where the wind is pushing that bait up somewhere.
Well, even if you've noticed on this bar here, all of our bites have come on the backside, and the wind's pushing across the top of that bar.
Okay.
So those fish are setting up on the backside, waiting for the wind to push bait across it.
Got it. That's kind of what I was thinking. Just the way my brain works, trying to analyze, you know, why certain things working on certain pieces and certain parts of pieces.
And honestly, even with a topwater bite, I don't like the water super slick. I want a little bit of ripple. I think it hides your bait better.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, me and Matthew were on some fish one time for tournament, and we had 30
32, 33 pounds. And when we woke up that morning, the wind forecast was, 15 to 20, and we were pumped. And those fish did not bite without the wind. And we ended up, he caught an 11, I caught a 9. Like I said, we weighed in, 32 pounds for 5 fish, and the wind was our friend on that. Without the wind, we probably wouldn't have weighed in 15 pounds.
If I catch an 11-pound bass, someone's gonna have to drive me home, just because I might have a beer.
Yep. and honestly though, that's part of the beauty of fishing.
There he is.
Florida.
Yeah, there's a fish there.
Is
little guy.
You can get an 11-pounder.
Get the skunk off me. Anyway.
There you go. Get some stink on you.
Yeah, get a little bit of fish juice on me. It's not that stud you hooked. It's not a chunk, as you would say, but
it's like a chunk, only smaller.
Listen, you know what? I'm not that way. I'm not a fish snob.
I'm very non-discriminatory.
I just like to catch fish.
Yep. If they're big enough to bite, I'm big enough to catch them.
You bet. Thanks for coming to the party. That's what I always say. Thank you so much. They're healthy. It seems like these fish in these pits they always look healthy. They don't get the same amount of pressure.
Yep.
So they're just in great shape. All right, the skunk's off me. It's way better than my last bass trip. So again, the opportunity to fish with Mike and his son Matt on this day really kind of strikes a chord with me. This is season 17 of Real Animals TV, and unfortunately, I never got the opportunity. Shortly after we started Real Animals TV, my father got sick and he passed away, and it was always an early dream of mine was to be able to film a show with my dad, and I never got that opportunity. And so when the opportunity came up to get a good friend like Mike Bedenbaugh and his son Matt on TV together doing something they do on the weekends, these two fish together all the time. They fish tournaments together. It touches my heart in a different way, I guess, because you're able to leave those two something that will be, on record forever. And to me, that's pretty cool. And to just sit back and, I'm out of my element. I'm not a great bass fisherman by any means. I'm not even a good bass fisherman. But to watch these two who are both very, very good anglers and to hear them kind of go at one another a little bit, chirping one another, it was nice to just get to sit back and watch these two, father and son, do what they had done so many times in the past on the bow of my boat. It was a pretty cool day. I really enjoyed it.
There we go.
Another little tyke.
One thing, you're definitely getting the small ones out of the way.
Well, and I'm here for you guys.
And I appreciate that.
I know,
that's teamwork. A lot of people don't even take that into consideration.
Listen.
But we do.
I want to make sure that our friendship means something to you, so I do the little things.
It definitely does, and I appreciate it.
I want to be that guy, apparently. Yeah, that one might be the small one of the day. Anybody can catch the big ones. I mean, if you can zero in and target this guy, that's precision.
It's not easy.
No, it's not. People think it is, but it's not.
No, there's people you go years and never catch one that small.
Oh, again, the exemplary level of smack talk was something that I hadn't fully expected this morning.
We apologize.
It's a bonus. It's a treat. It's an addition to.
We don't mean anything by it. It's just fun banter.
I don't know that a fishing trip with your buddies is worth a dang if you don't smack talk a little bit. It's kind of what it's all about.
Yep.
Really neat to watch father and son kind of go at one another a little bit. And it started the minute we got on the boat. You could see the competitiveness in each one of them kind of trying to make sure the other one didn't show the other one up. It was really fun to watch these two go at it. What are you supposed to main? Oh, let's catch a fish first.
Oh, he's mad. Yeah, he does not like the square bill in his lip.
It's a 3-4 pounder.
Fish too, yeah.
See, I'll let y'all get the little ones out.
Is that what it is? You got to land them though.
I got to land this one. I got two.
You got two.
Two at one time.
Doubled up on the square bill. There's just nothing Strike King can't do.
And they're, oh, one just popped.
Barely hooked too.
Yeah, there was two on there at one time.
Attaboy.
That's pit fishing.
That's him trying to show us up.
I know, right?
Straight. Straight show off stuff right there.
That's a good one. It says
Yeah, it's a nice fish.
2.5, 3 pounds,
nice
something like
fish.
that. He's coming up. That's a good one.
Nice.
Tighten the drag on this sucker.
Bartow Ford Island. Oh yeah. Oh, nice fish. Attaboy.
They're all about the same. Old pit bass. A little chunky.
Yeah, good looking fish.
So that's what they look like?
So that's what they look like.
Well, be that way. Be that way there, Junior. You know, a lot of these pits that I've fished in the past, some private, mining pits and ponds, a lot of times they're really deep. And sometimes certain times of year, especially now in the early spring, those fish are up on the edges, getting ready to spawn. This lake was kind of unique because it had a lot of rock pile islands under the surface, maybe 4, 5, 6 feet. And it made it really interesting. We were able to throw a bunch of different Strike King lures at them, crankbaits and red eye shads, and bring those baits across those rock piles and draw strikes from the fish on the rocks. It was interesting. I'm used to fishing the heavy cover on the shorelines. And on this day, we spent a lot of time in the middle of the lake fishing these rock humps and ledges, and it was different for me, and I really enjoyed that part. Even being able to worm fish off of those rock piles in 5, 6 foot of water, again, just different from what I'm used to doing. Pounding shorelines and the structure and the lily pads and all the vegetation on the shoreline. It was kind of neat to be able to fish out in the open on this lake in kind of a totally different manner than I'm used to. So this seems kind of interesting to me because a lot of times, and again, we obviously know my limited bass fishing expertise here. A lot of times fishing hard edges up along the banks. We spent a lot of time today working structure.
Offshore.
Offshore, yeah. So, I mean, what makes this, what are we fishing to that makes this such a good spot?
Well, with this being a pit and man-made, when they dig the phosphate, it leaves a lot of rock, a lot of structure, a lot of humps. Some of your best thing you get is the depth changes where we'll be sitting in 10 foot of water and you're actually casting a 2 or 3 foot of water with rock on top.
Right.
And the structure, you can fish the bank here and you can catch fish, but it just seems overall the bigger fish live here offshore on these offshore, the structure. And most of it is just chunk rock. And that's why if you're working a jig or a worm through there, you can feel it's like doom, doom,
yeah,
doom, doom,
right.
doom. You feel it, and then all of a sudden you'll feel the real thump, boom,
Right.
and there he is. So what we're doing is basically fishing the dredge spots from where the dredge machine was.
Okay.
And, when a drag line comes out, it leaves a point to where, because it digs around itself. So a lot of times you're fishing.
Well, look on the bank here. Look at this mountain here. That's basically what you're fishing underwater.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're dragging your bait up one side and the fish are typically sitting on top or right on the back.
Yep. Sometimes you can see them in the water. Michael's got one off the rock we're talking about right now.
Yep, and that was weird because I felt a thump, 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 just like you were talking about.
Yeah, you just feel and if you're not feeling the rock, honestly, a lot of times you're not getting bit. That's another good football.
Not bad, not bad.
There we go. Little cutter worm did it again.
Yeah, that cutter worm, and I've been getting along for years.
It's funny how that swimming worm is just, it's a deadly bait in the state of Florida.
It really is.
It's a lot of, if you fish a lot of big tournaments where there's no boaters and you're a no boater, you guy that's off the back of the boat, Man, you can just take and fan cast that worm all over the state of Florida and catch fish with it. Kissimmee, Okeechobee, Ishtapoga. I mean,
So healthy.
I mean, it's just, I don't mean to use this term, but kind of an idiot bait.
Yeah.
It's like a rattle trap. You just throw it out and, I mean, let it hit to the bottom and slow reel it in and let that tail do the work.
Very fitting.
And you can catch, I didn't mean it that way, but it is like that. You can really, I mean, like I said, that was when Matthew was young and he really first started fishing with me, 11, 12 years old, hardcore fishing, not just going and I mean, that was his weapon of choice.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd be flipping or something on the front of the boat and he's firing. And there was a lot of days where he put the work on me.
Yeah.
You know, doing something like that.
I really enjoy that part of it, and I don't know why that is, but it's a go-to bait for me. And it probably has a lot to do with the fact that I don't do this very often. It's not super technical.
Yeah.
You just have to remember to work it slow, slow it down, make sure you're in contact with the bottom. So it's
that's one thing with especially Florida. I mean, up north is a little bit different, but Florida bass, when you think you're fishing slow enough, you need to really slow down.
Really slow it down.
I mean, some of the guys that are the best Florida guys are the guys that can fish extremely slow.
I call it almost methodical.
It really is.
It's methodical. It really is, and it's hard. My ADD kicks in, and then it's hard for me to slow down. It's one of the things I have to concentrate on when I'm fishing, especially with a worm, making sure you're on the bottom, just crawling it, covering ground, staying on that structure. This week's Real Animals Tip of the Week, I want to talk to you about Bartow Ford. My good friend Mike Bedenbaugh, the GM there. I had such a great experience there, but for the viewers, tell everybody what you think it is, being at Bartow Ford and such a huge part of it, that makes you guys so special and such a big part of the community here.
Honestly, if I could narrow it down to one thing, it's our people. I mean, we got great people. I mean, we really do. We try to have a culture and breed a culture there of having our people treated well, and then we know they're going to treat our customers well. Right. So if I could pick out one thing, I mean, we got great people. It's our tenure there. I mean, it's funny that I get groups calling me about training salespeople, and they're like, "Hey, we'll train you some salespeople." I'm, no, I don't need any. You know, we just people don't leave. I mean, our average salesperson's been there 10 or 11 years.
Oh, wow.
You know, parts and service, they've been there a long time. I mean, we've had employees there 38, 39 years, and those are the people that make a difference. Those are the guys that every day, day in or day out, are dealing with our customers, and those are the guys that deserve the credit. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have a philosophy from the top down that, hey, let's take care of our employees, let's pay the people well, and then they'll take care of our customers. It seems to work, but sounds like to me that the top wants to create that family atmosphere. And that's why nobody leaves, and that's why so many people that I talk to about Bartow Ford say, when you go there, you get treated like family. Yep. The whole place thinks it's a big happy family. When you walk in the door, they treat you like a family. Yep. I've been blown away with my experience at Bartow Ford, and again, I tell people all the time, you hit the nail right on the head. It's the people. Go to bartowford.com, find out for yourself why Bartow Ford, Central Florida's leader, no doubt. You know, it was interesting because you would maybe go through a couple-minute period where, you know, none of us would get bit, and then once we got the boat positioned just right where we could work that rock pile, all three of us, it was like fish after fish after fish. And at one point, you know, Mike even had 2 fish attack the same lure, which, you know, is always crazy to see. Just kind of a super cool thing, and it lends itself to the health of this particular lake. You know, when the fish are in there that heavy, that many of them, that aggressive, it's pretty fun to see, and it you know, it sets up to be just the kind of day we were looking to have, where it was a lot more catching than fishing. Oop, there he is. I just smoked it.
Uh-oh.
Dude, they really are.
Attaboy.
Perfect little Florida bass. Thank you for your efforts, sir.
You know, it's kind of special, you know, Polk County, Bartow, it's not very far from the coast. And to have such incredible saltwater fishing on the west coast of Florida, and then, you know, just inland, almost anywhere you can come across a lake or a series of lakes, a chain of lakes that just produces some incredible bass fishing, some of the best in the country, you know, right here in Central Florida. So it's always a blessing and a pleasure to get to go fish some of these ponds, especially these private ones where there isn't a lot of fishing pressure. And it makes for a really special day for me because it's not something I do all the time. And it's a lot of fun fishing with two really great people, and having the opportunity to fish this water was a pretty special day.